Before you think about applying to Lenskart IPO, you should be extremely cautious and need to understand the dark truth of Lenskart IPO. The biggest IPOs in this country are no longer about building companies, they are about filling pockets of investors and founders. When you invest in an IPO, you think your money helps the company grow, but that is not what's happening. Instead of funding growth, your money is often just filling the pockets of early investors and founders who are selling their shares at an insane valuation. But do you know at what value those founders bought the shares they are selling now? It is so hard to believe, but in Lenskart case, founder Peyush Bansal reportedly bought back shares at an 8,700 crore valuation in July. Remember the figure? 8,700 crore valuation in July. Just 3 months later, he's selling them as part of IPO at a valuation of 70,000 crores. To understand how this works, we need to go back to 2021, the golden age of Indian IPO market. It was a gold rush. It felt like any company, even a small shop, without making 1 rupee of profit, was rushing to get listed. Amid all of this chaos, the big players saw their chance. Big companies like Paytm, Nykaa, Zomato, and many more saw this as a once in a lifetime opportunity to make hundreds of millions from all of this hype. All these companies followed the same three-step pattern. The three weapons they used to fill the pockets of founders. Step 1, they create massive fake hype. Step 2, they value their IPO at an insane valuation. Step 3, their biggest weapon is offer for sale. These three things together create the perfect trap. To understand these steps clearly, we look at Paytm IPO, the biggest one of them all.
Biggest IPO Indian capital markets have ever seen.
So, in 2021, Paytm announced the largest IPO in Indian history at that time. They wanted to raise 18,300 crores. The issue price was 2,150 per share. At this price, they valued the entire company at an insane 20 billion valuation or 1.49 lakh crores. This number alone created a massive hype. And don't forget the interviews. The founder, Vijay Shekhar Sharma, was everywhere, dancing, giving interviews, and selling you the dream. Because of these numbers, the interviews, and the list of big investors involved, the hype became a frenzy. But here is the dark truth no one talked about in the interviews. The company was a black hole for cash. It was deeply unprofitable. It had a long history of losing money. In 2021 alone, the losses amount to 1700 crores. In their own IPO document, the fine print, which many of us ignore, said they are expecting to make losses for the foreseeable future. But because of the massive hype created by the founders and the big investors involved, people believed in the promises. So people subscribed, and the result, it was a bloodbath. So, as you know, the issue price was 2,150. It was listed at 1,950, a 9% discount rate right at the open. By the end of first day, it fell to 1,564, crashing 27% in the first day itself. And it did not stop there. Investors who bought at 2,150 believing the promises saw their money go down like a falling knife. The stock hit an all-time low of 341 in 2024. That is a loss of over 80%. But do you know who benefited from this saga while everyone was losing money? To understand that, you need to understand two terms in the IPO game. Number one, fresh issue. Number two, offer for sale or OFS. Fresh issue means when you apply for an IPO, the money you invested goes to the company to help it grow, build new things. But offer for sale means when you invest in an IPO, your money doesn't go to the company, it goes directly into the pockets of existing insiders like the founders, promoters, and early investors. They sell you their shares at an insane valuation and walk away with the cash. It is perfect legal escape hatch for them. So, in Paytm case, they wanted to raise 18,300 crores from the IPO. In that, a massive 10,000 crores, more than half, was offered for sale. So, in this offer for sale, many early investors cashed out, like Antfin, Alibaba, SoftBank, and the founder, Vijay Shekhar Sharma himself, sold shares worth over 400 crores. So, to understand this clearly, retail investors lost over 80% of their money, while the founders, big investors, made thousands of crores from a company that wasn't making a single penny of profit. This is the system we live in nowadays. And if you look closely at Nykaa and Zomato, you'll see the exact same pattern, which brings us to the newest hero in the show, Lenskart, which follows the exact pattern like all of them, and why you should be extremely cautious and not apply this IPO. Understanding Lenskart IPO can be so tricky because the founder Peyush, he seems like smart guy. On Shark Tank, he's the one who hates crazy high valuations. But the valuation he's asking for his own company is the most insane of them all. Before going into IPO figures, let's look at the magic he did in just 3 months. It has two dates. Date 1, July 2025. Just 3 months back, Piyush personally bought shares from his old investors. At that time, he valued Lenskart at 8,700 crores. Remember that number? 8,700 crores. Now let's go to date 2, October 2025. Now, just 3 months later, he's bringing the same company to an IPO at a valuation of 70,000 crores. So, for a guy who hates crazy high valuations, increased his own company value by 8 times in just 3 months. While they increased their valuation, they also increased their profits, not by selling more glasses, but by doing some accounting tricks. The last 3 years, Lenskart was a loss-making company. Even last year, they made a loss of 10 crores. But suddenly, right before the IPO, a magic profit appears. 297 crore of profit. But this profit isn't from selling glasses. When you look deep into their numbers, the real profit from actual business is only 130 crores. The rest is just paper gains. It's a trick to justify the new crazy valuation. And what is the purpose of this trick? Simple, to cash out and fill their pockets. In the whole IPO, they wanted to raise 7,278 crores. Out of that, 5,128 crores is offer for sale. Remember what that means? It's the insiders dumping their shares onto you at an insane valuation. And you know who is first in line? The big investors like SoftBank and the founder himself, Piyush, is personally cashing out 785 crores. So, to understand this lens cut story simply, at first, the founder bought shares from his old investors at a low price. Then, he increased the company valuation by 8 times in just 3 months. And now, by doing some accounting tricks, they also increased their profits. And now, what will he do? He and his big investors will sell their shares to retail investors and enjoy their billion-dollar payday. So, here is my final thought for anyone who wants to apply to Lenskart IPO or buy any shares in the future. Just imagine this. When you go to buy vegetables, you look closely to see them if they are fresh. When you buy a car, you check the price and you check the features and you ask them, is it worth it? All I am asking is for you to apply the same common sense to stocks and IPOs. Look the facts we saw today. A price that jumped 8 times in 3 months, magic profits that are not real, instead cashing out billions of rupees. Now ask yourself the same question, is it worth it? As an investor trying to build real freedom, I see these things as massive red flags. All I am asking you to be is extremely cautious. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe and stay tuned for the next video.